Het Nederlandse debuut in de World Solar Race verloopt boven verwachting. De wedstrijd tussen futuristische auto's op zonne-energie gaat over 3000 kilometer van het noorden naar het zuiden van Australië.
De Nederlandse equipe zorgde voor een unicum door als debutant de wedstrijd op hun naam te schrijven.
Dat had ook allemaal even een beetje de sfeer van een ruimte.
Het is weer gelukt. De studenten uit Rotterdam en Delft hebben voor de tweede keer de World Solar Challenge in Australië gewonnen.
Het team zijn eigen record verbroken.
De vraag is wat het succes betekent voor de toepassing van zonne-energie in Nederland.
Zonne-energie en Delftse studenten, kennelijk een succesformule.
Hij is lichter, sneller en heeft nog betere zonnecellen.
In het noorden hebben we ook een heel erg constante race kunnen rijden. Dus het was echt voor ons een perfecte race.
Al de derde keer dat het team de wedstrijd wint. Maar de vreugde is er niet minder om.
We zijn er weer voor de derde keer!
En wat het voor mij doet, is het geeft hoop. Een hele belangrijke hoop voor de toekomst.
Hij is plat, snel en moet records gaan breken in Australië. De gloednieuwe zonneauto.
It's been 4 years since we've last been to Australia. It's been 4 years since for the first time in history we did not finish a race. And it's been 4 years since our car went up in smoke, mere hours before the finish. Now, we're 4 years later. A lot has changed, we've learned a lot, we've improved even more. But do we have what it takes to bring home a World Championship? My name is Lennart Hessels, and I'm the team captain of Nuna 12. And today, we are going to prove to you just that we are ready and how we are going to win the Bridgestone World Solar Challenge. Thank you all so much for being here today. I'm so honored to be able to welcome so many friends, so many partners, so many family, and other solar car enthusiasts. Because today is a day that I've personally been looking forward to for quite some time now. Because today, all the secrecy and all the tiptoeing around the design of our beloved Nuna 12 will finally end. Because today, we're going to show the world our contender that's going to take on all the other teams in Australia, some of who are in the room right now. And it must have been hard to miss the intro, but we've been pushing the limits of solar energy for over 2 decades now. When I was just 2 years old, I just learned how to walk. The first team crossed the finish line in Adelaide, setting the first steps of the legacy that we now all know. Winning on their debut and breaking all the records in process. Though this year we will be racing with the 12th installment of our solar car. You gotta realize, back then, back in 2001, the world looked way different from today. No one had solar panels on their roof, and solar racing wasn't quite as popular as it is today. But a group of students, 8 students from the TU Delft, looking for an adventure, was inspired by a movie, a sappy children's movie. They decided to build a solar car and go to Australia. And, well, you know, if they didn't manage to win the World Solar Challenge, they could at least surf on the East Coast, they figured.
Now, before the Dutch participated, the Bridgestone World Solar Challenge was ruled by professional car companies. So this team realized they needed something more than just the bold idea to participate. They needed some experience. So, with a bit of courage, they contacted a dreamer and a visionary, and above all, a man with experience with projects that seem impossible at the start. This man was, of course, Wubbe Ockels, the first Dutch astronaut and professor at the TU Delft at the time. And when they contacted him and asked him to help them out, he responded by saying, "Sure, I'll help you, but under one condition. we're going to win. So it goes without saying that as he spoke, their surfing dreams got crushed, but they got replaced with something much more valuable. The idea that they actually stood a chance. Now fast forward 2 years later, November 2001. The team with Boba by their side stood at the starting line in Darwin, ready to race. And after 2 years of building, designing, and then testing their car, it was finally ready to partake in a challenge. And being the first Dutch team, they really wanted to take home the prize. What followed was an intense day, 5-day challenge, straight through the outback with old-fashioned roadmaps and no internet connection. Now, imagine the surprise when this team of rookies, of students, on their first try, actually managed to cross that finish line first. And by doing so, fulfilling their promise to Wibbo. And as you all know, our legacy doesn't stop there. Only 4 years later, an even faster Nuna was built. In fact, till this date, no solar car has ever driven the distance from Darwin to Adelaide faster than a Nuna 3 has, which finished the challenge in only 4 days' time. And they actually raced so ridiculously fast, they arrived even before the race organization had set up. And by doing so, they actually made the organization go back to the drawing board to reconsider the regulations. So from that point onwards, the number of solar panels teams were allowed to take with them was restricted.
And let's go back to 2013. 2013 was the last race that Wibbo was able to join, because he was suffering from cancer that would take his life only months later. But this was a year where the team needed him the most. Upon arrival in Australia, he was a little bit shocked and a little bit angry because he found a team completely exhausted and a solar car far from ready to win a race. But he did what no one can do like him. He stood up, he gave a speech, and managed, together with the other alumni, to turn the team into a winning team yet again. This moment for him was also priceless, to be able to witness a victory of the World Solar Challenge one last time. Today, he's not with us anymore, but his mentality, his drive for perfection, and doing everything you can to win still resonates in our team. It also did in 2019, during our last visit in Australia. Unfortunately, about 200, 300 kilometers before the finish line, the driver smelled something out of the blue. Smoke. Without hesitation, the driver put the car on the side and got out safely. And within minutes, the entire car went up in flames. And the team saw a year of blood, sweat, and tears literally go up in flames. And then 2 years later, we were ready to bounce back and get that world title again. But COVID put a stop to this. And that brings us to today. Today, we are once again ready to retake that title. But all these tough years, they make you think, like, why do we do this? Why do we put in so much hard work, so much effort, when time and time again, we were disappointed? Well, yeah, we want to win. And yeah, we want to build the best possible solar car. But why? Well, we do it to inspire. And for me, that started when I was young. On the Kids News, I saw a group of students, and they built a car that was able to drive 3,000 kilometers using just one thing: the sun. And like me, millions of people have been inspired on the potential of sustainable energies just because a group of students from the TU Delft had an idea to build a solar car and race it straight through the outback. But so far, we've talked a lot about our legacy and what we've achieved, but we haven't talked about what we're going to face. So Alinda, our technical manager, she will give you some insight to how our World Solar Challenge is going to look like.
So our race starts on the 22nd of October in Darwin. And over the course of 5 days, we will make our way all the way down to Adelaide, which is a journey of over 3,000 kilometers. Each day, we start driving at 8 in the morning and finish driving at 5 in the afternoon. Wherever we are in the outback at that point of time, we stop, set up camp, and get ready for the next day. Now, it's important to realize that it is not only a battle to get to the finish line first, but it's a challenge to even get to finish. With extreme weather circumstances, wind gusts, and temperatures sometimes exceeding 50 degrees Celsius, both the car and the team get put to test. It really is 4 hours of sleep per night, a lot of adrenaline, and even more coffee that keeps us going during those 5 days. And keeping that in mind, when we started the year, we had 2 tasks: building the best car and building the best team. And both of those are really challenging, considering that at the start of the year, we didn't know each other. We were a group of strangers. All 18 of us not really knowing what we'd gotten ourselves into. I remember the day before we went on team weekend, we all just looked around at each other and realized that those 18 strangers would become the biggest part of our lives for the next year and a half. And that realization, that mindset, we took with us on that weekend. And before the weekend, we were strangers, but we walked away as the start of a group of friends. Then when we set foot in the office the next day, the first thing we asked ourselves was, what does a solar car look like? And what features does a winning solar car have? What does she feel like? How would she look like in 3 dimensions? So we started working with paper, with clay, trying to get every possible idea out. This phase is what we call our Disney phase, a phase in which everything is possible and we embrace the wildest ideas. In the end, we managed to narrow down our more than 500 concepts to just 15 ideas, scattering them on Post-its all throughout the office.
Because anyone that has ever set foot in our office will know that we work in an organized chaos of hundreds and hundreds of colorful Post-its. We place them on every wall, on every desk, and on every screen. The long-term plans and the short-term to-dos, all on colorful Post-its. And because we're so busy, if we don't write it down, we just simply forget. But let's get back to the year and everything that we have experienced so far. At the end of the concept phase, we got 2 very promising concepts. We decided to make a physical copy of them and place them inside of a wind tunnel at the TU Delft. At the end, a little bit surprised by the outcome and the work that was now ahead, we got to work on the shape that we got to know as Nuna 12. But before we got to that point, we had an entire phase where our aerodynamic department worked day and night just to make that car faster and faster. At the end of that phase, at the mold deadline, which is where the 3D models of the car are sent off for production, the aerodynamic department saw the sun rise every day.
Now, this was one of those moments where the level of intensity of this project rose in an instant. Seeing your teammates work themselves to the absolute limit to get the car just that little bit quicker, even though they were physically and mentally completely drained, they still wanted more time. Still wanted more time to make that car a little bit faster. Because they realized that only talent doesn't get you the world title. We have to put in the hours. So after the deadline, we were faced with a new challenge. Our team got split into 2, with 6 of our teammates moving 160 kilometers all the way down to the city of Zwolle to produce the carbon body of the car, while the rest remained in Delft to work on the electrical and mechanical system. In Zwolle, not only did we get to know our teammates on a completely different level, our team also got expanded by Tom and Stefan, whose help turned out to be invaluable. By now I can say that without their help, there's no way we would have finished production in time. Now fast forward 4 months later, imagine the feeling when we were once again back in Delft, reunited as a team, and pop bottles of champagne to actually celebrate the milestone of production finally being finished. And as the team became one, so did the car. All separately designed parts finally came together as one final whole, Nuna 12. Now, I would be lying if I were to say this was an easy phase, because production wasn't easy. It was really challenging for many people in the team. Not being able to see your friends and family for such a long time, combined with the fact that deadlines are continuously approaching, really takes its toll. And I actually personally had quite a different challenge going on, as I suffered a non-work-related concussion right before moving to Zwolle. And the vibrant energy in this team just makes it really hard to have to take a step back when all you want to do is to continue to push forward with the team. This team has its way of making you feel at home at an instant and making you feel motivated, inspired. And in a way, it's really addictive. You just don't want to stop. But luckily, my teammates were more honest to me than I was to myself, and they stepped in to take on tasks I couldn't do at the time, and I'm now only slowly getting back to. So, though the last couple of months have been a mix of intense, fun, and emotional, we're all really proud of what we've achieved as a team. Like our team coach Mark Lammers would say, no shine without friction. And with that, I would like to give the floor to a man who helped us become one team. So please give it up for Mark Lammers.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. I'm really excited to be here on this presentation. My name is Mark Lammers. Many years I was the head coach of the Dutch women field hockey team. It was also in orange, so that's why I only select orange teams. But I did 8 years the women team, and 6 years ago they asked me to be the mental coach of the Brunel Solar Team. And I was surprised, because I said, well, I don't have experience, I didn't did a study of like the university, I have really struggling with my study. And they said, no, we need mental coaching. We need somebody who coaches us. And I knew that Hugo Okkos was there before. I said, well, this is another hero, so I can't replace him. But they said, well, we need a coach to get all those diversity in one team. And we can learn from the top sport. And I said, okay, I will do it. And I started 7 years ago, and I was really surprised. I learned more from them than they learned from me. And I want to share with you all those learning points I learned from the Solar Team. First of all, there are two guys who have more experience than me with the Solar Team, with the mental part. There are two guys in the back. There's one, HP, with the photo camera, and Jorrit, the other one, it's a tall guy. Those guys are maybe the most secret coaches of the team, because they're always there, 23 years already with the team. And so I'm not the only one. Also, a lot of partners in this room helped the team with some mental training sessions. We did DISC with Deloitte. And many people of the partners are coaching our students. I'm honored to do this job. And of course, it's another way. It's another way of life. It's another way of top sport. But I think we can learn from each other. The Solar Team can learn from the top sport, and we, the top sport, can learn from this Solar Team. So we're going to watch out of the box. Normally in the Olympic Games, everybody's talking about what participating is more important than winning. But this team said, no, Hugo Okkos said, winning is more important than participating. But I tell my students that take care, because we don't have 100% influence on winning and losing. Who's influencing the results? The opponent, the referee, it's the pitch, the sun, the weather. So I try to get them away from the goal. We need the goal for direction, but we don't have 100% influence on winning and losing. We have 100% influence on our performance, on our preparation, our designing. We have 100% influence how much we practice together. We have 100% influence how we communicate with each other. We have 100% influence on our behaviors, our skills. And we have 100% influence on our strategy, our mission. And every good company or every good top sport team has always a why. I'm sure that a lot of partners are here. Every good company has a really nice why. Why we're doing this, why you work there, why you want to work for the solar team. And of course, that's not difficult for us. It's about to get the world better for our children, to get a better world, sustainability. And that's why we do a lot of, this team, I was really surprised, they do a lot of presentations to schools and to guys on the politics to explain them what can we learn from solar, what can we learn from the solar team, and also what can we learn from not only solar energy but also the wind energy. I was surprised because maybe the wind is more important than the solar because everybody's thinking about the solar. But Delft always is strong because they also think about what is the wind doing in Australia. I've been now 4 times there. There was a lot of side wind. That's why in Delft we start with the catamaran. And we learn a lot from sailing. And in this new car, you will see later, there's again a big innovation on that. And I will explain it. The aerodynamic did a really good job. But we are telling our why. We're talking about what can we learn from it. Because in the future, we will use it also on the cars. Or maybe in other things. Of course, every good sport team or business team has also a common goal. If you don't have common goals, you don't need each other. This student has a common goal because they want to win the race. It's not the mission. The mission is to get the world better. The why. And this is the race. We want to show that we have the fastest car, the most smartest car, yeah, with a lot of nice innovations. We got 2% innovation there, 2% innovation there, and we got 2% innovation there. And maybe you will say 2% is nothing. I was surprised. Because I thought 2 years ago, this is the best car. Nobody can make a better one. And again, they got a better one. Because they do it always 2% smarter and faster. It's like in top sport, there are always world records with innovation. And 50 times 2% is also 100%, or not? I was not so good at school, but we always wait in the business about 100% improvement. But 100% improvement is not coming. 50 times 2%, we can win every day. That's what the students are doing. Every day we can do 2% faster, smarter. But you first need direction, the common goal. That's clear. You don't win an Olympic Games without innovations, because everybody's doing the same. And I'm really surprised always with the innovations. I'm happy that I work now with a big laptop. But when I see the students now, they don't work with a big laptop, they work with the telephone, with dashboards, with data. Measuring is knowing. I was surprised. So I also bought a smartphone to get all my data and dashboards. Aerodynamica is one of the most important things of Delft. We were the first with the aerodynamica of the catamaran. The others had a bullet. But we always also think about the wind energy. And that's nice. And also in the new car you can see it. And of course, data make things visible. Technology makes things possible. But people has to make things happen. Those students who are in the back, they made it happen. Every 2 years they make a better car. And it's about teamwork. How do you work together? How do you work with diversity? Of course, somebody of the aerodynamica want to build the car round car for aerodynamica. But the girl of solar panels, they want it straight. So that's not easy to make a team. To think about what's the best for the team, what's not the best for my skills, but what's the best for the team. With this team, we don't work anymore with feedback, and we can learn from it. They don't work with feedback. Because with feedback you get, yeah, this was okay, that was not okay, this has to be better, that was wrong, that was okay. You watch backwards, but the circumstance in the future is always different. So why we do feedback? With these teams, we do a different way of working. We do feed forward. Feed forward. What can we do better? And immediately get positive energy. Why? It's still in front of you. And you get a lot of solutions, a lot of innovations, and a lot of ownership, because they have to think about what can be better. So stop with your company with feedback sessions. Start feed forward sessions. Ask the students how they do it. Scrum session, come together, what can we do better? We lost the game, okay. What do we need to win the next game? So what do we learn from it? And the nice thing of feed forward is that you get more positive solutions. You get new innovations. If you do feedback, you get excuses or you blame each other. So we work a lot, they work a lot with feed forward. A lot of companies can learn from it. It's more positive, more energy in it. Another nice thing, of course, was 4 years ago. Maybe the biggest crisis of the solar team. We were winning. We were ahead of the other teams. And I was there also. And 2 hours before the finishing, after 4 days fighting, 2 hours before Adelaide, we got our crisis, the biggest crisis in history. The car completely burned. The only thing we kept on this fire was the license plate. That was the only thing that was not from carbon. And I remember that many students had different feelings. Somebody was angry, the other one was sad. Somebody was crying, somebody else was already making jokes. And there were 5 students who said, I go to the hotel, I don't want to see the car anymore. I said, no, come together, come together. We celebrate together, but we also mourn together. We need to share this feeling, and we need to finish all together like a team. And that's why we stay there, to really get away from that feeling. And I think that was really important, because we need to celebrate successes, but we also need to mourn crisis. And we talked a lot with each other. What did it do with you? What did it do with you? And there was open communication. And I think that was the first start of the Nuna 12 now. It was heavy. And if you see in every shock or every crisis, first you get the shock, you get different feelings in your team. And that's why 2 days we came together to talk about those feelings. And this is normal. In every company, if you have a crisis, we need to give time for this. Sometimes we say too fast, we say to each other, oh, leave it, next time better. No. If you celebrate success, you also have to mourn crisis. Give it the time. And of course, it was not easy. And I remember that every team, also of the solar, has a crisis. There was Corona, the fire. Now it was really difficult to get those products. Delivery times. It's always a problem. And I showed this team, but also the team Nuna 12, I showed a storytelling. And I want to share you this story. I want to show them that it's like in top sport. Never give up. We lost the game, but we don't lose the mission. So we need to continue. And I showed this video about the Olympic Games in Barcelona in '92. On the Olympic Games in Barcelona in '92 was Derek Redmond favorite to win the gold medal on the 400-meter running. He trained 4 years really hard to win the gold medal. But after 20 seconds, he broke his hamstring. He didn't give up. He struggled to the finish. He arrived as last over the finish. And I want to show you this story that I showed the solar team.
When troubles come and my heart burdened be, then I am still and wait here in the silence until you come and sit a while with me. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. When I am on your shoulders, you raise me up to more than I can be.
Yeah, there was 2 minutes. And we had to continue. And that's why, with the license plate, we went to the finish. I said, because also morning, you have to finish well. And we went to the finish with the license plate. And this was maybe the most emotional moment also in my life. Because, well, sometimes you win and sometimes you learn. And we gave the license plate to the organization. And we said, we come back in 2 years. We continue. And for me, it was maybe the most beautiful thing of this solar team. They never give up. They always stand up one time more than fall down. And it was not his father, it was also his coach. It was Wubbe Okkels who said, we have to continue. We lost the game, but we didn't lose the mission. We continue. And that's why we also mourned with all the water and all the fontaine, and it was really great to finish like this. And now, 4 years later, we have a new battle, new team. And I'm really happy with this team because, well, I was so surprised the first meeting we had. There was so much energy. And with this team, it's better to tell them, not so fast. Because they want to get faster and faster and faster. I said, oh, we still have 2 years to go. And we need to communicate with each other. Because those students are normally used to work alone. But now they have to work in a team. So we talked about the why, we talked about the common goals, and we talked about the values, which value. And we talked about focus. What's really important? And the nice thing of this team is, for me, that we can learn also in the business is this is a self-coaching team. They don't have a manager. They don't have a CEO. They don't have a teacher. And they don't have a coach. They only ask me for advice, but they also ask HP and I ask Jorrit. They do everything alone. Why? Because they have a challenging goal together. And we all in the companies, we like self-coaching teams. We can learn from it. Ask them to give a presentation in your team after the race, because now they don't have time. But after the race, ask them to come over to explain them how they did it without a manager. Why we have so many managers? Maybe we don't need them. They don't need a manager. They want to win together. And they are fighting. And fighting we had last weeks, we had also a hockey clinic with them. And that was really funny. This is a winning spirit team. And I'm really proud that I'm still a coach after 7 years, also from Nuna 12. I want to give the word to Tijn and Thijs, because he's going to tell something about you, the support. Without support, you never win. Thank you very much, and have fun today. Thank you.
Right, all right. Thank you, Mark, for your kind words and sharing your experience with our team. I have to be honest, when I started this team, I was a bit naive. I didn't know much about solar racing, and I thought by myself, why would we need a coach to build a car? I really didn't understand at the beginning. But boy, did I got proven wrong quickly. Almost at the beginning, Mark really showed what he's worth, because Mark really helps us. Just like in professional hockey, the tensions are high. And when the tensions are high, Mark helps us focus. Mark makes sure that we keep our head in the game and we focus at the task at hand, building a winning solar car. So thank you, Mark, again, for all the support for the past year and what's coming. Thanks again. But in fact, almost everyone sitting here today has supported us in the past year. Because I can say, without a doubt, that we would not have been standing here today if it wasn't for our partners. You see, building a solar car is an incredibly complex project, let alone racing it. And for that, we need all the help that we can get.
And several of these partners have been here for longer than Thijs and I can even remember. And we think it's amazing to see that our goal and our mission still resonates throughout all of you. And apart from all the partners that have been here for a long time, I'm also really glad to see a lot of new faces here in this audience. Companies that decided to join our Nuna family this year and hopefully next year as well. At the beginning of the year, Thijs and I actively sought for new partnerships. We had to. And we think it's a privilege to seek support for such a project. Because this project is like selling a childhood's dream, the building of a racing car. So you think, who wouldn't want to be a part of that? And we're glad to say quite some companies, they want it. And for Brunel, it will be their first time joining us in October in the World Solar Challenge. And I think we both feel the pressure of pushing all the limits for this year. It's our first time as well, so we are kind of nervous already. But we are so happy with the guidance they gave this year. When we first set foot in the office, they were quickly to approach us, and I can name numerous courses we did. We did sales trainings, we did media trainings, and I can go so on. So we're really glad for that. And even the organization of this event is partly because of the help of Brunel. So I think I can safely say for our whole team that we are so grateful, and we are going to do everything to get that World Cup in October back to the Netherlands. So thank you.
However, it's not just the partners that have led all of us to stand here today. I also explicitly want to thank our friends and our roommates. I want to thank them for their patience, their interest, and their fascination into the project. I want to thank them for all the times they didn't throw out my cool-down plate at dinner when I got home too late again. But mostly, I want to thank them for the hour-long talks at our kitchen table, talking about the project. Especially after a long, stressful day when I had it just up about here with solar racing. I would always ask the same questions. Is the car almost done yet? Which, of course, it's today, but before that, I could always answer no. But talking to them always managed to rekindle the joy I felt for solar racing, because all those questions really makes you feel the passion. And I think a personal turning point for me would be on King's Day. Because I was waking up early on King's Day, eating 2 slices of toast and drinking a cup of burnt coffee, when a few of my roommates were just getting back from King's Night, festivities from the night before. And they asked me, well, Thijs, you're up early. Are you early up to already decorate our house all in orange for today? And I had to tell them, no, I'm not up to decorate our house, sadly. I'm up because we have a very special day planned as the of us, because we're going to test a new component, which was a very big thing. And I was really looking forward to it. My roommates were a bit amazed that I wasn't going to celebrate in one of the biggest national holidays in the Netherlands with them, but instead I was looking forward to going to the office, going to the workshop. And I think at that moment they had a realization. It was a turning point. They realized that this project had become more than just a project, but that the project had become a passion.
And lastly, maybe one of our biggest supporters this year. The whole process, from A to Z, from applying for this team until the point where we are now, our parents and family. Some of you even had to sponsor us a little bit, but we are so excited and glad that the excitement that we had when we decided that we wanted to apply for this team was kind of contagious. And if I can speak for myself, then the excitement is running through my whole family right now. So we are really happy that you support us throughout this project, and really excited that even some of you will be at the finish line in Adelaide. So to sum it all up, we've had quite a lot of support this year, but we also needed that support really hard. This World Solar Challenge has the largest competition in the history of the World Solar Challenge. We need to seek all the boundaries of the newest technologies that are available. Apart from that, we really had to learn about all the shortages in resources and parts, and we had to find creative solutions for that. So thanks for the support for that. I can now almost say that I'm proud to present to you Nuna 12. Almost. Because first, our electrical engineer, Stefan, and our mechanical engineer, Jesse, will tell you everything about those new technologies and all the innovations that are in Nuna 12. So I'd like to give them the stage. Thank you.
But before we blast off with the details on Nuna 12, let's first take a step back. Welcome to this episode of How It's Made, Solar Cars. We start with creating the body of the car, which is very aerodynamic. Or is supposed to be very aerodynamic. Of course, we want it to be very lightweight. Now, let's choose an energy source. We can use diesel, or petrol, or the sun. Let's use the sun. Let's use that nice roof of our car to place a solar panel. Now, we can collect some sun rays to get some electric energy. But where do we store this energy? Of course, in the battery pack. Ooh, but the battery pack is really heavy. Let's place it in the front of our car. We don't want our car to pull any wheelies, do we? So, we have plenty of energy now. We collect it with our solar panel, store it in our battery pack, and now, what do we do with it? Drive, of course. Let's use it with an electric motor. We place the electric motor directly inside the wheel to be as efficient as possible. Talking about the wheels, they are quite important. Let's give our solar car some wheels, some very round wheels, in order for our car to keep rolling without using too much energy. Now, our car is finished. The only thing we now need is the sun.
Okay, now that we're all up to speed on the intricacies of solar racing, we want to tell you about our process. In the beginning of the year, we decided to give our aerodynamic department a carte blanche. This meant they could draw up the most aerodynamic efficient car they could possibly think of, only being constrained by the bare minimum of solar racing: the driver, the wheels, and of course, the solar panel.
And so they did, working day and night. They designed, iterated, and investigated more than 10,000 different Nunas, ultimately creating a faster, thinner, and smaller car. The most aerodynamic car the Brunel Solar Team has ever created. But a car is more than just an empty shell. It also has other vital organs it needs to fit. The motor, suspension, steering systems, monitoring systems, and more. Every single component is indispensable.
This extremely scaled-down car pushed us in quite a corner. We needed components to fit that simply could not. This pushed us to innovate. For example, the suspension we had used for years had become completely useless. It needed a full redesign, resulting in a non-symmetrical double wishbone suspension, which is the first in our more than 2 decennia solar racing.
I want to give you an idea of at which scale we had to redesign. We were not able to place any dampers in the car, simply because there was not enough space. So we thought, what if we cut them in half? What if we split up the functionality of a damper by absorbing the energy close to the wheels and releasing it somewhere else? And it worked. By constraining ourselves, we came up with creative solutions which led to a serious size reduction of 26% of the whole suspension system.
Now that we assured that the car we had designed was feasible, the production was commenced, aiming for the lightest car possible. To achieve this, we investigated different materials and we wanted to improve the production process. By using carbon fiber, one of the strongest materials on Earth, we created a car chassis of which the weight is similar to a luggage suitcase you can take with you on an airplane. But Stefan, what is carbon fiber?
Carbon fiber is light and strong, a rare combination. The fibers are braided in a chessboard pattern, giving its unmistakable appearance of the carbon fiber sheets on the solar car's body. The positioning of the fibers is crucial for its strength, so it is held in place by a resin and spaced by a foam. Now, to show you the strength of the material, I've brought a small sample here of carbon fiber that didn't got quite lucky enough to become a solar car. This piece weighs about 100 grams. Let's test the strength of this plate. For instance, would it hold the force of, let's say, this handsome man?
Producing this sample already takes a lot of effort, let alone the complex aerodynamic shape of a solar car. To tackle this challenge, we wanted to improve the production process and we investigated in different materials. By choosing the best materials, we improved the overall quality, we decreased the production time, and we cut down on weight. And yeah, we did. By all of this, resulted in the lightest three-wheeled solar car we have ever built.
Now it's time to power up the car. This, of course, can be done without the motor, the battery, and of course, not to forget, the solar panel. The whole electrical system was redeveloped to keep up with the high standards necessary to build a winning solar car. And what's more important than using your energy efficiently? This is done by designing a motor specifically for the extraordinary flat scenery of Australia. So this year, we optimized the design, which led to the lightest motor we had ever driven on.
But even the most efficient solar car still needs an energy storage to challenge the well-known problem with clouds, the absence of sunlight. The more energy you can store, the more dynamically you can drive during the race. Well, we all know those circular batteries you still use sometimes to charge up your TV remote. We did use something along those lines for quite some time, but a different category, of course, but roughly the same technology. By combining many of those, carefully thinking about the placement and wiring them together, it would turn into something we would call our battery pack.
This year, we decided to try a revolutionary new technology, silicon nanowires. This technology comes in the shape of a pouch. A pouch has roughly the size and shape of a phone. The only difference is that it can charge my phone up to 5 times, an immense energy density. This new cell technology demanded a complete redesign of the whole interior of our battery pack. To battle the high temperatures in Australia, we created a new airflow pattern between the cells for cooling. Though the design was more complex, the hard work pays off. This year, we got the biggest jump in capacity by far. Without compromising on safety, the energy capacity is increased by more than 50%.
But before we can even start talking about reaching any end of sorts, we haven't even explained about the crown jewel of our solar car. The power of the Australian sun shining high above the scorching desert needs to be harnessed. To leave more than 3,000 kilometers in your rearview mirror, you need a lot of energy. And there's only one source of energy that you're allowed to use: the sun. And honestly, what would a solar car be without its most redeeming quality?
The solar panel, of course. This year, we decided on a new solar cell technology: heterojunction solar cells. These cells have an improved efficiency and are more resilient to the high temperatures. Besides this new technology, we also improved on the production process. By cutting the cells in half and laying them on top of each other, we were able to decrease the size of our solar panel without compromising on efficiency. On top of that, the solar cells harness energy from both sides, which we could take advantage of by improving the design process and the solar panel.
So, this year, we were able to build the solar car we have always wanted to build. No compromises, just efficiency and speed.
We have been talking about Nuna behind your back for quite some time now. Now you have heard about our story. Perhaps it's about time that you finally get to meet her.
all so much for being here. It's very hard to describe the feeling right now because I'm very proud to finally be able to show you our car, but I'm even more proud of our team, of what we've achieved, and I think everyone already touched upon it during the presentation, but for me, it feels more like a family than a team. And I hope you enjoyed the story that I've been trying to tell. And with our wrap, we also try to tell a story. Because in the front, for example, you see an astronaut, which reflects Wibbel Ockels and reflects innovation. And behind him, you see a lion, which represents our team, the Dutch nationality, and power and strength. And of course, the Australian outback with the orange sand, and which is part of our identity, is also present on our wrap. Before we wrap it up, I want to give a very small administrative announcement. What we're going to do after this is we're going to take some pictures with our biggest partners. So I want to invite everyone to grab a drink first and then come back afterwards to take a look closer at our car after we're done with all those pictures. Once again, thank you all so much for being here. It's been an honor to show you our car and our team. And Thijs, the floor is yours.
Yeah, all right. So yeah, I would like to invite our diamond partners to come over to the podium so we can take a few pictures with them. Those are Top Desk, Gamma, Inca, SPI, and AOC, starting with Brunel, of course. For the rest, I would like to invite you to go to the bar. Drinks are on us, so enjoy.
Oké, dan gaan jullie nu weg en dan blijven wij hier.